Okay, good deal. All right. Well, welcome everybody. I am an interactive professor, so welcome everybody. Welcome. Thank you. There you go. All right. I teach nursing school, so roll with it. It's all good. But welcome to our UTA SEP first in a series of webinars on how we can make the best positive, successful student experience. Yeah, and so we're going to start that with fostering a welcoming environment. I'm Christine Roberts. I am one of the subcommittee members, and we have.
And I'm Allison Hall Burch. I'm also one of the subcommittee members for welcoming.
Yes.
I'm Heather Arterburn. I'm actually one of the co-leads of the SEP Student Experience Project.
And we do have quite a few other members who weren't able to join us today. Some might pop in online, but they're all here in spirit. So let's get this party started. And hopefully you got to hear a little bit of the happy music to welcome you all in when you came in the room. So again, fostering that welcoming environment. All right. So welcoming environment, it's kind of intuitive. I think we all kind of know what that means, but what does it really mean for our students? So it's a place where they can feel safe, respected, and included. And when they feel this, they're going to have more engagement. They're going to feel more supported, and it's going to help them succeed academically. So the intention is designed to reduce barriers. I like to say squash beasts, because we all have beasts that we're trying to conquer as people, and foster that sense of belonging and community, and encourage active communication within the classroom, but also throughout the campus as well. Click. That's okay. So again, welcoming environment, whether that is your classroom, whether it's online, in person, or it's anywhere on campus, we all want to feel welcomed, valued, respected, and supported. What it doesn't mean is that students aren't going to be challenged, or that they're always going to be comfortable, because we got to be challenged, and sometimes we're uncomfortable to foster that growth and that learning. So that, again, is one of the reasons why we want to really emphasize a welcoming environment. So we created this acronym called CARE, and it's 4 things that you might consider doing to help foster the environment. Sorry, it keeps cutting out. But the first one is communication. We have a lot of different communication styles: verbally, visually, written. I'm gesticulative in a positive way. I move my arms and I move around and things like that. But we want to communicate, the students are our clientele. Also, we're all peers, whether staff, faculty, groundskeeping, whatever your profession is with the university. So it starts with small change. It can be something as small as changing one word. One thing that I like to do is I work in the College of Nursing and Health Innovation. I'm a student success coordinator and an instructor. One thing I do is students will make meeting appointments with me. Under my signature line in my emails, it used to say, click here to schedule a meeting. And I'm like, that's really formal. That might be intimidating to a student to say, click here for a meeting. So I changed it to, click here if you'd like to chat. Click here if you want to schedule a chat. Even when they come in to visit, I'll say, what are we chatting about today? What are we chatting about? Instead of like, okay, so what is this meeting about? Because a lot of times they're coming in with those beast challenges. They're already intimidated, maybe worried. So it can kind of more positive tone. I turned the mic, so hopefully that will help it pick up more sound. All right, so again, how you communicate. And another thing we can do is acknowledge our students. They come from a diverse background, culturally, spiritually, experience-wise. We have families, second-generation students, multi-degreed students. So again, acknowledging that we're not a cookie-cutter society, and that we value your input because we're all special in our own way. That can help foster that welcoming environment. It also comes into play having a little bit of an understanding that, as I tell my students, life doesn't stop when you enter nursing school. I think it ramps up, honestly. I think the stars that are aligned say, ha ha, watch my hot tea, hold my hot tea. I can't say that other beverage, but hold my hot tea, watch this. So again, just acknowledging that things do happen. I want to work with you. Let's work with you. A trend is a whole different thing. and we'll chat if there's a trend of things going on. But again, acknowledging that I see you, I hear you, I understand that you have things going on too. We don't live in a school silo. And then resources. We have a plethora of resources up here at UTA. Making sure your students are aware of those. I think for a lot of us, Canvas has a lot of those resources automatically built into them, but do we show them to the students? Maybe pick one of those resources per lecture or per week and highlight it. Say, hey, today's resource spotlight is SAR Center. Here's the link to it. Here's just a brief. Here's what they do. So that, again, it brings it to the forefront, maybe creating a little 1-minute video to show them where to click to find these resources in Canvas, because we all know it's very easy to get lost in Canvas as an instructor and a student. And then we want to empower them. Again, self-doubt is its own beast. Imposter syndrome, its own beast. Just being human, we have our own beast. So anything we can do to empower the students, I like to say to a lot of mine, you're a smart cookie. This is in my office. I have a smart cookie book, really great book. Jory John and Pete Oswald, they write a really good series of books. And just to encourage the students, I keep saying, hi. The food is on the way. It reminds me of in school, they would say the eagle has landed when the teacher's paychecks got there way back in the day. So empowering. So yes, I tell my students a lot of times, because they come in, a lot of times I do a lot of test reviews. They don't get the grades they really want. And we've got to talk about that. And the first thing I say is, hey, you're a smart cookie. This little doodad even talks. He has 3 different sayings on there. And a lot of times I'll let the students hold this. If they're looking stressed, sometimes they're tearful. I'm like, here, hold the Cookie Monster. Again, it's a resource. I'm communicating. I see you. I see that stress that's going on. And it's just a small thing we can do. But I always tell them too, this is a journey. We don't have the Star Trek. We can instantaneously teleport. We can't jack into the Matrix and automatically know how to do our things. That would be great, but it's going to take time. And this is a journey. And you're on a journey, and one step at a time, one port at a time. And I think sometimes in this instantaneous age, we need reminders about that. All right. So I just wanted to show you all an example of the CARE acronym that I have developed. So this is a template email. Whenever I meet with my students in student success, I put the big thank you up there, and I'm a big pictures proponent. So I put smiley faces and pictures in there, but just something colorful saying thank you. Eye-catching, thank you for coming in. I say thanks for coming by to chat with me. Again, keeping it a little bit less intimidating. Opening resource, let me know if you have any questions about what we talked about. I appreciate your feedback. Again, valuing, empowering them to give me feedback on how this session went. Encouragement, we've got this. Smiley faces. That may not be our style, but that's okay. Links that students find helpful. I actually started putting all of these in here. Number one, I didn't want to keep looking for them every time I might want to send them out. So I just included them now so that every student has it that meets with me for student success, and it's right there in their inbox. So that's something that it has resources. I'm acknowledging their feedback. I'm using some welcoming communication and empowering them all in the same go. Do you have to do all of this? No, you can start with one of these CARE acronyms. Small changes make the difference. So what are we going to do today? We're going to break into groups. And how many do we have online? Do you know how many? We have
6 people.
6 people. Okay. 9, 6, very close. So we're going to break into groups, and we are going to come up with some ideas and some examples of maybe how you already create a welcoming, or maybe new ideas for creating a welcoming environment. What are some challenges that you might encounter? Think about the in-person classroom setting, the online audience, and then planned and unplanned, because we do have surprise events happening in this world that we need to sometimes acknowledge to show we are welcoming, we understand what's happening here. So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to split off into 4 groups. So we will have maybe we'll have one group over here, two over here, and one group online. So group one, which will be over here, you're going to consider how to do a welcoming environment at the beginning of the semester. Group two is going to be the welcoming environment in the middle of the semester when the students have a bit more going on, maybe they're a bit more stressed. And then at the end of the semester, where they're super happy that it's ending, but they're really, really stressed at that point too. So we'll have group three back here. And then group four, my virtual people, y'all are going to collaborate on surprise events. So some of these surprise things that might pop up, unplanned events that happen during the semester. So you have about 5 to 10 minutes in your groups. Just brainstorm. We've got some giant Post-its and some markers. Brainstorm your ideas and brainstorm any challenges. If you'll pop to the next one for me. So within those groups, you might choose a leader just to keep you on track. And we'll divide into the groups, select a leader, and then you might have somebody taking notes, and you might choose a presenter. You can be all three of those if your heart desires. But then we'll start brainstorming, and then we'll come up and we'll share. Each group will have 5 minutes to share what they came up with. Any questions? And the food is on the way. The food is being set right now. So, all right. You have 30 seconds to jump into your group. Ready? Okay. And you feel free to move around. If you're like, I want to go for the beginning of the semester. If you're like, I want to go middle of the semester, it's all good.
Just go to any of the three that you want. No, you're not assigned. Just go where your heart leads.
No, we thought about assigning, but we thought that would be welcoming to assign you a group. So,
And there might be certain conversations that you're more excited about than others. So, beginning of the semester, folks there.
yep, beginning of the
Middle of
semester.
the semester, folks there. End of the semester, folks here. Wherever it is that.
Okay, like beginning is where?
Right over here.
Beginning of semester, and then, okay, so we're in the semester? End of semester, we're starting the end of semester, if you want to do that one.
I signed it.
All right, so we've got beginning of the semester. Y'all good? On your mark, get set, go. Okay. And what is y'all's group? Middle of the semester? Middle of the semester? Y'all got it? On your mark, get set, go. Okay. And look, she's already writing. She's drawing. She's making a welcoming set of notes over here. All right, end of the semester right over here. We'll have 10 minutes. Go for it.
I'll be the note taker. Brainstorm thoughts, ideas, and stuff. Okay, so we're brainstorming thoughts, ideas.
Heather did. Can you flip back to the other slide, the previous one?
Creative.
Kind of on the bits.
Environment.
Do you want the CARE acronym back up?
What are we doing? We need to know what we're doing.
You're coming up with ideas or challenges to make a welcoming environment around the end of the semester.
Okay.
Like how you can foster a welcoming environment at these specific times within these specific audiences.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
We're there.
All right, so end of semester.
Think about the kinds of after class conversations, the stuff that students want to like talk about. Some of the challenges they might be having with their work. Things of that nature that might require a different kind of
So,
support.
If we had in-person classes and.
So let's think about ideas that we might have or if they need mid-semester stressors. Like figuring out.
It's in a class, you know,
Or
it's in a meeting, where are we
time
looking?
it's coming across.
Where's your environment, whether it's
Overall.
in-person class.
But if we
a
all have different
meeting,
environments.
That's fine. Go with what you know,
Okay.
because we don't just want to welcome classroom. It's our peers.
Not really, not yet.
Not really. Ideas overall, create a welcoming environment
At
at the end of
UTA.
the semester. Are
At
you guys
UTA.
faculty or staff?
Yep.
Faculty?
Okay.
Okay, we're not timely. That's why we're like, we don't even know in classrooms,
Okay,
so.
okay, all right.
Okay, let's do classrooms.
Okay, so let's start with.
So I think there's different ways we can look at this, the classroom environment, and then also like the way that we communicate with them. So like.
Experience sharing.
Yeah, y'all might, y'all aren't necessarily doing surveys in person.
Or maybe.
Y'all don't see any kind of, especially for the students and all that.
Kind of challenges that you all know that you might.
Not students. Grad students to.
So we can apply overall.
Absolutely.
Do you all work with students at all?
I
mean, I'm a student worker.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
There
good.
you go.
Yeah.
That's fun though.
So that, we can use that as well though.
Yeah.
Any kind of interaction. Okay, so, so first thinking of the way students are at the beginning of the semester,
yeah.
well, one, that you know they're detached, like even though, even if they're
Midterms.
not senior, they're
Yeah.
so they're already, not as focused anymore.
It's increasing and
So-
we have to
Oh,
communicate.
I would say one.
No. For some reason, whenever they're
Stress level.
Anytime catering.
But also nervous about how.
Do I need to change the biggest?
Yeah.
Okay.
Their whole attitude changes at the end.
There's no hurry.
So, right, and you can tell from the student side.
Yeah, sure.
So also.
Just towards the end, I see like when I read the statements, I see it's like the way semester. I mean, the way from under Western. I mean, a lot of
Are we gonna be able to hear that?
Yeah, if not, it's like towards the end, like it should not like
Okay.
everybody by default.
Okay.
But it can unmute them.
Okay.
To like just make here and it allows.
Oh, I see. To do that.
How do you search?
Click on people.
That's like
Click on people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Click under attending because that is just always who's logged in and this is the total.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Okay, I see.
assignments and don't
allow mic.
Okay.
You can allow camera too.
Okay.
But I think it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
as like
Yeah.
someone might.
That's what was kind of in there.
We can have each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, the effort is there, exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so since this is about creating a welcoming environment, then we want to think about with assignment. Since they're ready, not putting in effort because there's much going on, their stress level is high, they're done, but they're not done, right? So we want to think about what we do at the end of the semester. We'll communicate, emphasize, what still do.
We have 5 more minutes. Keep going. Brainstorm.
So do all of that then. So then maybe something we would consider is,
Just don't let it blank.
our tone when delivering, when explaining the assignments matters.
Send a lot of like positive, very positive cheerleader like.
Positive
You guys
tone.
got this, you can do this.
Encouraging.
Don't forget this, you do, but you got it.
Yeah, so maybe, then.
We always have.
Well, for in person,
We welcome the new students, but we also.
reminds, because it's in person,
Okay.
so remind,
Not just games for
remind students,
Mandatory.
final task. Remind
Yeah.
wasn't taped to the wall.
assignments.
For example, one football player.
We talk about the past.
For someone new in the unit.
And then maybe under this, so this will be like, what we're reminding of, then like the way that.
Yeah.
Okay. So positives, slash cheerful
You can
tone.
do that, students.
Cheerleader. Positive slash, yes.
But I think it's like when they've already been accepted. I mean, I could.
Feeling good?
Yeah.
Yes.
I will say that the way that I talk to them.
Just
at the end of the semester,
Yeah, it can be.
I know they're.
What if they take a ball class and you throw it around? Anyone has questions, you throw a ball so they can ask questions, so they can.
Make it fun.
Yeah.
Good.
Any questions or anything? Anything or? We hope not. I didn't just scare opportunities. Yeah. So we're doing great. We're doing great.
And then just put like some of
Okay.
Tips, but
great fun opportunities.
So far I wrote mid-semester social to provide tips, information to students on how to manage the stress.
And then if we're going to explain this,
Then I wrote have fun
Okay.
engaging
and
activities,
then, be empowered and encouraged.
showcases diversity and is multicultural.
Because we want them to know, we should want them to know that we're on their team.
But okay, so
We're
that
not
would be
working
more
against
with
them,
the
so.
influence of what about people.
And then,
I think that's pretty good.
so that would be the way that we remind students on final there, but here would be different. So, sending reminders, so let's just do sending reminders.
Right.
during this time period.
Oh,
Call.
yeah, that's good. Emphasize office hours. And then put like positive tones there. But this time you should write.
Right. Sometimes it can be different.
Yeah. Choice.
Yeah.
Are we going to make this discussion?
Videos. Yeah.
Yeah, that's be mindful of words.
But, for example, invites, office to.
We have just about 1 minute left. I know the food is ready back here, so if your group has gotten everything done, feel free to go ahead and get your food back there. And we'll start doing some presentations here in about a minute.
Yeah. And another one would be
Not the.
extended and then
Like a 5-minute chat. Stuff like that.
Tell them like.
okay.
Like acknowledge.
Yeah, you would just do it differently.
Because we're talking about spies.
Their struggle.
Another bullet. Knowledge struggle. So those are some of the information against what. But then we also try to say. And knowledge struggle. And an opportunity.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. So it doesn't even
That they're
necessarily.
struggling, but that uses. That doesn't necessarily.
All right, everybody, if we could get ready for our presentations. And yep, we're getting ready to present, and in the spirit of a welcoming environment, we could go sequentially with beginning, middle, end, and surprises, but any group want to go first? You're just going to discuss what y'all came up with and what y'all's thoughts were and any challenges, but any volunteers? We'll go first. And then did y'all call second? Third? I think they're getting food. We can go for it. All right. So you can, whatever you're most comfortable with. If it's not going to be welcoming for you to stand up here, I won't make you do it, but I will give you the microphone.
Okay, hello. We are the group 1, so we're at the beginning of the semester. So this is my team over here. And The big thing is creating flyers and sending out welcoming emails similar to the example earlier, including pictures or just saying you're appreciated, glad to have you here, very excited to welcome you. And then telling the students about the various activities that UTA offers, concerts, homecoming, just what makes UTA unique to other schools in the area, as opposed to UNT or Stephen F. Austin, et cetera. Just like, again, just like this in person, having food, whether it's catering or snacks, crackers or chips or whatnot. Candy would be good. And then promoting our sports and games, and if it's online, doing gamification where they are rewarded badges or certificates or whatnot for participation. Also having maybe an alum, if they can't be in person, record maybe a message to welcoming, so it's fellow students or someone who just graduated from UTA, or even if that's not possible, bringing in seniors and having them speak about their experiences so they can relate, and as opposed to faculty or staff, and maybe feel more appreciated. And then the faculty that does speak, that they can use those surveys into semester surveys to share their experiences about UTA. And basically just differentiate UTA from other schools. One of my team mentioned about the labs where they recycle batteries. So we could take, I think that's unique compared to other labs or schools. And then just depending on their major, I'm in the theater, arts, and dance department. So we have the first couple of weeks have invited all the students, not just the incoming students, but all the students to the main stage, and we introduce ourselves from all the faculty and staff, and then give a little bit of a presentation. So each individual department could do that and do either a departmental tour or maybe include some of the unique aspects about like College Park, et cetera. So the challenge is just, especially first generation college students, or maybe a student that is not from this area, they may be hesitant, uncomfortable, or a little bit stressed about coming to college and not familiar with the area. So just getting the students to be active and participate without feeling stress and anxiety and whatnot.
Anything else? Any other contributions from the group or any of the other groups, or any questions or any other thoughts at the beginning of the semester? Some things you can do to have a welcoming environment. And again, doesn't have to just be classroom. The environment is UTA, whether it's online or in person. Yes, ma'am.
I haven't done this, but these ideas just made me think about it. So there's a course that I teach, the entrepreneurship course. It's fairly new, and we need to bring more awareness to it. And this, bringing in alumni to share experience and student participation, that made me think about maybe recording, creating small promo videos and just recording my current students sharing about their positive experiences in the class, and then posting that for one to help promote. But then also I think I could use something like that when preparing for the new semester. So this was great.
And student testimonials sometimes are even more powerful than faculty and staff. The student has more street cred, as they tell me, and so I'm like, I'm not jealous of that, but it makes sense. It totally makes sense. So
that just occurred to me, I have something I'd like to do that, speaking of student empowerment. Having UGTAs in your course is also really helpful, because UGTAs who have experienced your course, students like to go towards UGTAs and undergraduate teaching assistants. I don't know if you guys use those. But being able to have an undergraduate walking around the classroom that has experienced your class before is a great help. Students always like to go to undergraduates before they go to a graduate, before they go to a faculty. Like they totally get support in that hierarchy. So that's an idea too.
And one other thing, piggybacking on what was just shared, is that a conference I attended about 3 weeks ago, they suggested recording yourself. And a lot of our students don't read our emails, but maybe putting a small video embedded in the email to welcome them. And they found that students would watch the video, and it's the same information that's in the email in text form.
And then I think end of the semester was going to,
Oh, yes.
yes, all right. You look fabulous. All right, who would like the microphone?
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Hi, I'm Lori Ramirez, College of Business Management faculty. And we actually had a combination GTA, right? GTA staff, and then I was faculty member. So we'll just go ahead and go through everything. And then our group members, if you have anything to share, feel free to just chime in. So we focus on a welcoming environment for the end of the semester. Now, we'll start by saying that I didn't really think about that because we're already at the end of the semester. But I think this is especially helpful now because we're not at the beginning of the semester. So some of the ideas that were just shared, we can think about implementing later, but mid-semester and at the end of the semester, we can really start to implement some of these now. So we actually started out by discussing the challenges, and it was completely unintentional, but that's how we started, and that's what led us to where we're at here. So we didn't specifically write down the challenges, but I'll just share some of them that we discussed. Some of the main challenges were concerned with the change in student behavior at the end of the semester. They tend to be stressed, which is concerning for faculty. They're stressed, they tend to be detached, and they're not putting in as much effort. And so it's concerning because we know they want to end strong, but they also have so much going on, and it's not just in our class, it's in the load that they carry overall on top of everything else they have going on in life. So I think that understanding that is a big key to creating a welcoming environment at the end of the semester. So there were various challenges we discussed, and then it led us to some ideas, and we broke it down between in-person classes and the online environment, but some of these sort of overlap. So we'll go ahead and go through these. At the end of the semester as faculty, we know that we send out a lot of reminders, whether it's verbal reminders in person, in an in-person class, or written reminders in an online class, or both, even if it's in person or synchronous online. Sometimes we got to do a double because they forget, right? So reminders are very important at the end of the semester. So we actually started there because students are stressed. When we're stressed, we sometimes become forgetful. And so we primarily focused there, didn't we? And so we started out with the in-person classroom environment, remind students about final assignments. We did the same for the online, but I'll start by breaking down the in-person classroom environment. Having a positive cheerleader-like tone. Yes, just giving an example. Yes, so having a positive cheerleader-like tone is important. I know for myself as faculty, I know I have to be more upbeat at the end of the semester, even though we start to get drained too. We're tired too, and we know we're about to have a lot of grading to do. But I realized over time that I need to change my attitude at the end of the semester, even more so, put more energy, because theirs is not there. So I got to try to elevate them. So having a positive cheerleader, like add a tone, is really important. Word choice would matter as well. The words that we select to use at the end of the semester, all throughout, but particularly at the end of the semester as well. Let them ask questions. Actually, I'm going to let you share about this phenomenal idea that she had that I'm going to implement this semester.
To encourage, because students don't like to ask questions, right? I mean, I've been a student. I know. I was the one who always asked questions, but for the most part, everybody sits there quiet when you're like, you have any questions? And then later, I'm sure you get like a bunch of emails, right? Because they don't want to ask in person.
Yes.
So making it fun can motivate them a little more. Like I suggested, bringing a ball to class, and whoever's holding the ball can ask a question, and they can pass it to the next person who has a question, just to make it a little more interactive. And then they're more like, oh, I'm gonna hold the ball, even though it's like silly and simple. It could work and get them out of their shell a little more.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great idea, sort of like passing the stick. But if it's a large classroom environment, that'll make it more fun. So I'm getting a beach ball this weekend for that. So I think that's a great idea, and that would be an idea we can implement in person. Be empowering and encouraging. That's really important, especially at the end of the semester. They need that. Some students are doing well throughout, some not so well, and they start to lose hope. So I think that making sure that we're more empowering and encouraging at the end of the semester, so that they know we're not there to fight against them. We're not there just to grade. We're on their team. And I think it's important to deliver that message, even if it's indirectly. Acknowledging the struggles, we think is very important. I do this actually in my classes. I didn't do this when I first started out as faculty, but I realized that doing things like that really helps. So now I make sure at the end of the semester to acknowledge that I understand they may be stressed right now. I actually just did it this week because they're all ready for spring break. So acknowledging that we understand. And I think that will help us better connect with them. Now, moving on to the online environment, sending those reminders for final assignments. We got to do it. So making sure that we are mindful of our word choice, especially because it's written communication, and we know that can be misinterpreted. So being very careful in the words that we select to use is important. Even with just the greeting alone. So it starts there. So something more along the lines of hi class, or like, for example, I teach leadership. I'll say, hi leadership students, rather than class : That's a big difference. And it can really make a big impact, especially if they're already stressed and overwhelmed. Having a positive tone, that is possible in written communication as well. And using emojis could be very helpful. They don't see our smiles, so that we can use emojis, unless we post a video announcement instead. So that's another idea.
Yeah, tone, a lot of, I don't know, people in general, tone is not transported through email. You could say the same thing one way, and then they read it on there, and they get it, and they read it a completely different way.
Yes. Yeah.
So I know adding emojis seems silly sometimes to people, but honestly, adding a smiley face at the end with a cowboy hat can make all the difference in your tone. Suddenly, instead of like, could you get that thing done for me? It's, could you get that thing done for me sometime? You know, it's like, it makes, even though, if you feel silly using emojis, just know it makes the sender feel better. Yeah.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And then the last one here is office hours. Emphasize them, and consider extending them at the end of the semester, and making sure that they know we extended them and why we did, because we want to meet with them. So we're creating the opportunity. One last thing, I'm taking instructional and learning design technology courses. I've learned a ton, and I totally recommend it. I've learned a lot. And something that really stood out to me was on the game-based learning and gamification. I learned a lot about how to create games. I've been using those. They've been so helpful, especially for exam reviews at the end of the semester. I create these virtual escape rooms, and they absolutely love them, and it relieves their stress. College of Education. Yeah. So that's it. Thank you for listening.
Any questions or comment really quickly for the end of the semester group? Great job. All right. Now we're down to the middle of the semester and the surprise moments. Do we have a volunteer who wants to go next? Oh, middle of the semester. She's standing and ready to go. All right. Here is the microphone. You're welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. So we have lost
half of our team. So we're now down to 2 members. But we came from a variety of schools. We had engineering, chemistry, English, and social work. So for the middle of the semester, we said that we would have one suggestion for an activity is that of a social, a mid-semester social or mixer to provide tips and information to students on how to manage the stress of the midterm and being overwhelmed. The example we use is what is happening today within the School of Social Work. I think they partnered with health services and they're doing how to be safe during spring break. So that is an example of a mid-semester activity. We also said have fun and engaging activities and send out invites to organize games. I know UTA basketball, we have basketball, male and female, and we have softball now. So, have those events, invite students or students to attend those activities. For the other fun and engaging, departments can do maybe during the lunch hour, have little events where professors come in and have a powwow in that it's open, students can come in, just ask question challenges without being too formal. We set a potluck which would bring all the diversity, multicultural, because UTA is a very diverse community. And so it gives everyone an opportunity just to express themselves and share their culture. We also spoke about online discussion boards. Probably maybe 50% or more of our students are online. And so sometimes when we have in-person activities, they're left out. And so we have to be intentional in planning activities. If we create these online discussion boards for the day, they can feel free to leave comments and suggestions and participate. But also the organizers have to be intentional in checking and monitoring those discussion boards on the days of the activities. And sharing information, continue to share information. And because I'm in social work, of course, I have CAP and SAS as 2 areas in which students, you can share with students. You may think they may not need it because it's already the middle of the semester, but I think that is when students need the assistance most, because trying to balance the life, school, job, it can be overwhelming. And you may start off with good intentions, going as fast as you can, but in trying to balance everything, you find yourself at that point. So I really suggest those, and Wellness Wednesdays. That is something I'm not sure how many persons are aware of it because it's open to everyone, but that is something that's also really beneficial, especially during midterms. I can say that. And the challenge, in addition to balancing roles, I think is intentionality of activities and events. A lot of the times, when we're planning events, we need to be mindful. What is the goal of the activity? What are we hoping to achieve? What do we want the attendees, students, faculty, staff to take away from those events? And that would help us as well. Thank you.
Any questions, suggestions, middle of the semester? Some of us are. Some are at the end. Some will start at the beginning. All right. Saving one of the best for last, because we're all the best. We have our online group. Do we have a volunteer online that would like to unmute themselves and take it away? Can you unmute yourself and chat? That may be the first question. Clicking the 3 dot, the more. No, I don't think they can unmute. Okay. Okay, we're working. Dun 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 diddle diddle. Song is very good to help decrease stress, especially if you want to just sing it and wing it on your own in front of people. Any luck with unmuting? You're all unmuted now. All right, go for it. This is all pass, no fail. Looks like they're still muted. Oh, y'all will need to unmute yourself.
So I'll just jump in. We didn't vote
Catherine's
on anyone.
Go. Go for it,
I'll
Catherine.
jump in. Hi, I'm Catherine Sony from the School of Social Work. And, obviously this is a topic that's varied because any of the surprises could be your technology doesn't work in your
Hang
classroom.
on one second. We are
Oh.
trying to bring you to the speakers in the class.
Okay.
And start talking.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, her box is lit up.
Should I try now?
Oh, hey, there we
Hi.
go. All
Okay,
right.
hi. So we didn't vote on anyone, but I guess I'm the first to unmute. But as you can imagine, there's quite a range of surprises that could happen throughout the semester, anywhere from technology not working day of, or like we recently experienced, we had winter weather where we had to quickly shift and figure out how to do, like for us that were in-person classes, how to figure out how to shift and do online. But some of the things that were mentioned in our chat where obviously there could be personal issues where our students are bringing this with them, whether it's just on their minds and hearts, or if it's something they're, physically having to like step out of the classroom and handle a phone call or things like that. So some of the things my colleagues mentioned in the chat were, life changes, illnesses, economic issues, academic disappointment, but then we also discussed when there are situations impacting our students, like whether it's national or international incidents. And I mentioned where there was a time we were on a break for our almost 3-hour classes last semester. And, students were checking social media and then began talking about an incident that had just occurred that week. So one of the things I did is, several students started joining in on the conversation. So I did acknowledge the situation and, obviously had to keep it in a more neutral way because there's so many views that people have in the class, but I acknowledged that it was a concern. And then when the break was over, it was just a reminder to get back onto topic and then jumped right back into activities. But in the chat, we also mentioned where there are times where we could also follow up with a student if they showed great concern about an issue. We can follow up with them after class, or it could be a follow-up email with an offer to help find resources, or as mentioned before, the university has so many resources available. We can always direct our students in that way. So that's just kind of a nutshell of what we discussed. Hopefully others can jump in if there's something I missed.
Something in the chat right there. No, I think that was excellent because I think we've almost all of us have experienced something unexpected, whether it be the pinnacle of unexpected, as in COVID, when everything shut down everywhere, and learning how to live through that, but also something like I was ill for the exam, unexpected life events, unexpected world events, things like that. So I think that while we don't want to have the whole class time shift to that discussion, if it's necessary, we'll gauge it at that point, but we do definitely want to acknowledge it, maybe get it a little bit of time. And then I love the idea of if anybody would like to meet with me, if you would like to chat about this more, I'm absolutely open for that. You can put it in an announcement, say it in class, or even if there is a student that's very passionate about said topic, maybe you reach out to them and say, hey.
One of the things I brought up in our online conversation is SEP provides a lot of resources and tools, and I'm going to share that with our follow-up material. I personally find these conversations one of the most challenging to have with my students personally, just because of my own insecurities about sharing these things with other people. And so the tools that we have online, it's just an online document, but I'll share that with our PowerPoint and all of our tips, help give you scripts and approaches and ideas for having these really hard conversations, whether it's politics or what happened in Austin last weekend, right? These are all really hard conversations to have. And if we're not trained psychologists, it's a little scary to say the right thing with our students. So I will share that with our follow-up material. So just wanted to add.
Thank you for that. Any questions or comments for our surprise group? All right, if we want to pop over to the last 3 slides, we will Number one, great job, guys. I think we all had some great ideas. Absolutely. So thank you for sharing all of those. And again, go forth. It starts with something small. We wanted to just talk about the SEP, the Student Experience Project, which helped to initiate this movement to have a positive student experience. It's a lot of university leaders, faculty, researchers, national organizations that, again, all want to come together for that one focus of having an innovative, evidence-based practice to improve not only degree attainment, but the whole college experience and university experience. So again, transform it so that we can help our students be successful. And again, we want them to feel welcomed. We want them to feel a part of the community. Thank you for that. And use their resources, but also communicate. Reach out, let them know they're not alone. So again, fostering that belonging and ensure every single student has the support they need in order to succeed, no matter if they are first generation or it's their first day ever, or they're a grad student, or this is their third PhD. We want them all to succeed and feel welcome. So again, small changes can make a difference. Changing one word from schedule a meeting here to schedule a chat. Come by and chat. Implement one of these care changes and then see what happens. Reflect on what happens. As we say in nursing, we're always assessing and doing, planning and doing, and then reevaluating and doing some more and changing the plan. Definitely go forth and continue that journey. Bring some of these small changes to your environment and see what happens. See what happens. And we do have a slide with some resources for the welcoming environment. So I did put the Student Experience Project website up there. We also have our UTA-based Student Experience website. We have our 3 to Thrive. So these are small changes, big impacts. So these were some tips that we came up with within our 4 pillars. So we've got welcoming environment, engaging feedback, wise feedback, sorry, growth mindset, and then we're working on syllabus development. Yes. So we tried to come up with a slogan, 3 to Thrive. So something maybe monthly or just small little things you can try to engage the environment or have wise feedback, things like that. CERTL, great resource for faculty and staff. And then we have UTA student resources. There is a plethora of student resources. And again, most of you, if you are teaching a class, Canvas has a lot of those already embedded in there, at least in Con High. I'm assuming that is a UTA-driven Canvas initiative. Does anybody want to back me up on that? Okay, well, in Con High, we have UTA university resources, and it has a lot of things in there, but you can start with that website. And then we have Pedagogy Next, faculty voices and teaching and learning, so you can gather more tools to help you be successful. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for coming in and joining us in our workshop. Thank you for your patience with our lunch. And anybody closing remarks, questions, thoughts? Both in person and online?
This was recorded if your colleagues missed it.
And this was recorded so that you can watch it again later and share it with your colleagues. All right, thanks, guys. Enjoy the day and stay safe in the weather out there. Did you have a comment? We have a comment. Oh, wait. Waiting for it. Here we go.
I do want to say that at first I wasn't sure what it was going to be about, but if it's one thing I'm taking away, it's care. Communicate, acknowledge, be resourceful, and empower. Definitely. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Absolutely. Because we know every one of us cares or we wouldn't be here. So we care, and sometimes we just need some tips and tricks on how to go forth and welcome. I won't say conquer, welcome. Conquer. Happily conquer. Grab some food, take some food with you. Thank you online. Thank you. And guys, have a great day. Growth Mindset Workshop is March 19th. Facilitating a growth mindset. So instead of students maybe thinking, I can't do this, or this is too hard, how can we help foster that growth mindset? How can our feedback No, that's wise feedback. But again, engaging that growth mindset, you know, it's not that I'm an imposter syndrome and I'm faking it till I make it. You're learning. It's about the journey. Do you want to?
Yes.
And reminding our students that you can always grow. You are not limited into only being able to be so successful or only being able to earn this kind of a grade or do this well. You can
Yes.
always grow from that.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm on the team. I'm the co-lead for the growth mindset, and we've been working very hard at this one. It's really important to us just because of that. And there are ways in which we can strategically help students unlock that sort of fixed mindset to become more ongoing avid learners. And so we're going to share about some strategies, some tips, some tricks, and then hopefully we'll get a lot of feedback from our peers on best practices. So that's the idea.
Thank you, everybody.